looking at your house as an investment is probably one of the main reasons why we
Yeah.
got into this mess in the first place. But the thing is that you can find a place where you think you're going to be settled in for a while, but your landlord can decide to sell it like a year, 2 years later, and completely pull the
Yeah.
rug under you. So it's like you never really feel like you're in a stable place when you're renting. And for a lot of
Mhm.
people, they're either tired of having to move, tired of dealing with terrible landlords, tired of not owning where they live. They're tired for X reasons, and I never have to worry about a landlord coming and taking my house because I own it.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's a difference between the small real estate investor and these big companies. Like I do not advocate, it's not even my goal to, own 100 plus. Like you see these real estate investors of oh, I own 100 plus properties and blah blah blah. Um, for me, the ones that I go for are the ones that are just trying to set themselves up as financially, build those multiple sources of income and build those little nest eggs. But I don't promote like going after single family homes, which is why I sold my first two homes, because I did have those as rentals,
It's
and I
interesting. So you
switched.
buy condos and townhouses
No,
or
duplexes.
multifamily? Interesting.
Multifamily.
I
Multifamily.
respect that because you're leaving the single family for the owners, and you're
Mm-hmm.
the multifamily for yeah. I respect that.
Yeah, I don't even like the Airbnb type, because it's the same thing. You're taking up like a single family home. And so I'm trying, like, as a real estate investor, not only in advocating for like setting yourself up financially, building that wealth and generational wealth, but trying to do that. I mean, you're not gonna be at like super ethical. It's like you're not gonna be super ethical trying to be a real estate investor, just like with business and stuff, but you could do little things to change how we've been doing real estate investing, not taking up and trying to own the whole freaking street, a whole neighborhood, making sure that you're investing, like the neighborhoods that I invest in are low income, and so I'm buying up these properties that these boomers just let be run down. And so like I'm going in there and fixing all this stuff, and providing better housing for these low income families, and also making sure that uh I am preventing the rent increase. Like with my property managers, they're always asking me like, "Oh, we're gonna increase," and I always tell them like, "I for what?" Like, let them be. I'm not getting, taxes may go a little bit, but they didn't go up that high. And so that's kind of like the type of real estate investor that I'm trying to promote, similar to those that are trying to build a business. Like, do not go out there and try to make your millions off, doing, the minimum wage, when like housing and cost of living is high. Like, you know, just trying to do little small things that you can do. It's difficult um for our community, because like I feel like we're trying to catch up with all this stuff, like trying to like build our business and stuff like that. But because of the other ones that have built their businesses and investments the wrong way, now that we're trying to catch up and we're trying to do it, we got to make sure that we're at least trying to help those and not take advantage. I think there could be kind of a balance. Unfortunately, these are the cards we're dealt with, we got to make the best without taking advantage of people. So,
I mean, yeah, the problem is there's no wrong or right in capitalism.
yeah.
There's no ethics in it. So you're right. Like, why play the ethics game when the system has been playing unethically so long, right? So,
Hmm.
so I mean, I'm all for it. If you're going to be an investor, then go for it. My biggest issue isn't necessarily the renter investors, or like it's like the wholesalers. It's that whole industry of
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to find someone in need, buy their house cash cheaper than what it's worth,
Hmm.
and I'm going to
Hmm.
flip it to another investor, make 10 or 20K off the top, and let that investor flip it. And it's like, well, that person could have probably sold directly to that flipper for a lot more. I get it. There's gonna be people that don't want to deal with the flip and they want to just sell it cash, but that
Hmm.
wholesaler, just because they're the ones out there calling or being more salesy,
Hmm.
they picked up that person. And I I don't care. And I've talked to many of them, and they try to turn and twist their way into thinking how, oh yeah, we are helping people, but yeah, I mean, they found an avenue to really take advantage, and I personally I despise them. I really do. I think the flipping industry too, um, they turn something so pure into so, I don't know, like communities have gone so much more expensive than they have to because people are
Mm-hmm.
justifying the amount of money they put into these houses. Um, and traditionally, when a house has been remodeled, I love the fact that it's someone that's lived there that just put their heart and soul into that house, and now it's really
Mm-hmm.
nice. But no, it's like they're creating like this artificially nice house just so they can make more money. And now the whole neighborhood is gaining value. And then now, next thing you know, which is okay for the time being, but 4 years later, that area is now propped up and it's too expensive for anyone to afford to buy in.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's a bigger
Yep.
issue, and of course, there's flaws in my logic as well, but I'm just a hater when it comes to that stuff.
No, like this is like that's why I don't like mind talking about it and I don't get like offended when people tell me that. It's like, I get it because it's true. Like there's a lot of things I don't like wholesalers either. I agree that I feel like they prey on people that are kind of on their last leg, try not to go into foreclosure or something, or they prey like on the elderly or whatever. So I'm not a big fan of those either. At the end of the day, our community is trying to like come up as well. And this is one of the ways that, has been proven to build wealth and multiple sources of income. But I want to push for compassion and looking at the long run, not just like out here making money. Um, and I feel like most of the small time real estate investors, that's all they're trying to do. They're just trying to like um have that extra income so that way they don't have to be in this rat race and leave something behind. So I definitely get it. How do you feel with I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure you've seen it because I've seen that you had a video on it. With now that like real estate agents are under attack saying they're not worth the commission, and now with that lawsuit that just happened, like how are you feeling, or are you seeing like a shift now with people not wanting to hire real estate agents now?
No, not yet. I'm sure it's coming, but I think the animosity towards agents have always been there. It's still very much a needed industry because you still need
Mhm.
someone. If you think about what the purpose of it is, there wasn't any buyer's agents before. I don't remember the years or the history of it, but there wasn't any buyer's agents. There was agents that were representing the sellers, and then they would find the buyers, and but the buyers felt like that agent was representing them, and this agent had to keep reminding them, "I'm not representing you. I'm representing the seller. I'm representing the seller." So finally, at a certain point, the buyer's agent, the idea of a buyer's agent came out, and then they found the way to compensate that person through the percentage of the listing, right? And then that got paid. And now buyers found that they had their own representation,
Yeah.
and it works for the sellers because it's someone who is licensed, who is background checked, and they have access to to be able to access a house and make sure that it's safe and make sure that nothing gets stolen, etc. And if they are, then that agent is held liable.
Hmm.
So I think the idea that sellers are just going to let anybody walk in through their houses is not happening. So
Yeah.
that's still a very much needed thing. And I think we do provide some kind of guidance, and not everybody feels like they want that guidance or need it, but there's still a lot of people that do. So I think
Hmm.
this is a little controversial, but the whole 3% commission thing, I think that probably lumber should have been lowered after we exceeded like 250 or 300K. You know,
Hmm.
selling a $500,000 house and getting paid 3%, you're making like 15K. It's like absurd, right? It's like
Hmm.
when if you sell a 250K house, it's the same amount of work and you get paid 7,500. It's just, so there. It should have probably been reduced to 2% after like 300K price range. The average sales price went up that high, but I think a lot oftentimes what happens in history is when there needs to be a correction, if there's an overcorrection. And I
Hmm.
think the overcorrection here is completely going to a thing where the buyers are not responsible for paying the commission. I think what should have happened is we should have kind of accepted some kind of industry where the commission just gets lowered so the sellers
Mm-hmm.
have to pay less, and therefore, but we can still help buyers at the same level. But we'll see. I mean, unfortunately, for buyers, all they have to know is that you have to have that conversation. I mean, there's always going to be agents that charge very cheap, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm sure there's an agent you can find your primo that will charge you almost nothing to do it. But I think for the time being, the sellers are going to pay for the commission still, and the issue
Yeah.
is going to be when you're talking with agents. Is that going to cover their minimum percentage? And if that doesn't cover it, then the buyer have to cover the remaining percentage?
Yeah, they're asking for this percentages and you're doing too much. And I was thinking something similar where it had brackets, like a 1, 2 bedroom and one bracket and like the 3, 4 bedrooms. And then once you get to the millionaire ones, it'd be a different percentage or package deal or whatever. Because I think that's what is getting out of hand, thinking that you're selling a 3 bedroom or a 4 bedroom and getting this high commission, especially over here in California. And so like I think that was one of the issues. And on top of that, now with like technology and AI, and I'm gonna be honest, like with myself, it's like I usually do all the stuff myself, like looking for houses. When I was looking for this one, I did everything and like I really only used the agent to just show me the house because you're
So what
right.
would you pay an
No
agent?
one's I'm not sure. I haven't like thought about it. The most I've gotten was maybe like some type of like how you were saying percentages based on the type of service. Maybe you have like listing agents that just list the house for you and that's it. Maybe there could be like some type of fee for just like going to show me the house, certain amount of houses on certain days or whatever. And now with like AI and stuff,
What is AI gonna
going
do
to be
that? What do you keep saying that? What are they doing?
with just like being able to automate more things like contracts, like everything, contracts, as far as I can tell. Again, I'm not a real estate agent. I'm just speaking from like when I've been purchasing it and everything is always all done online. Everything's pretty much automatic. Besides the like negotiation and stuff like that, I've done pretty much all of it online, so I could see how AI can create some type of automation. And so I guess I could see the feast, one of the reasons that it was starting to get challenged, besides a lot of people just not seeing the value in real estate agents. So like what do you tell those types of people with that mentality? Like how can you like let them know like AI is a big thing, but this is what actually goes on. Because not everything can be automated.
Let's say you're trying to talk me down. Let's say you're like, you want to pay me. I think you have a number. You don't want to say it. Let's say you
Hmm.
want to pay me 3K or something, right? So can you? Let's
Hmm.
say you're in that position, and then I can kind of tell you what I would respond. So like you just let's say, hey, but the thing that people need to realize is people are going to get this agreement signed before they even look at a house now, which is sucks.
Yeah.
But so let's say we're having that conversation.
Yeah.
You're like, Javi, I want to hire you. I want to buy this house in Phoenix, but I only want to pay you 3K. Let's just go with that.
Okay.
And then you would say, and I would say, why do you want to pay me 3K? Then what would you say?
Yeah, I would say what kind of services are you providing? And if like at this point I would be assuming that we have like uh the ability to negotiate and all that stuff.
Of
So I'll be
course,
like, all
which
right,
you will.
what can like all I need is for to be able to access these houses. Can I have a list? Like, I'm gonna have my list. I go on Zillow, whatever, realtor.com, whatever the hell. These are the houses that I'm thinking of seeing. Like, can we set up to be able to for you to show me these houses? And what would be, I guess, well, in this case, I said 2K, right? Would that be feasible for that?
Got it. So this is what I would respond. If you're looking for an agent that's just gonna open the door for you, there's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
agents out there that will take a flat fee for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I don't even know if I don't even know. We're not there yet. Just so you know, out of there, I don't know how it's gonna look like. But what I would say is Yeah, there's definitely agents out there that will open the door for you for 2K. And if you want me to just go open that door and
Mm-hmm.
that's it, like I can send you the contract. You don't need me to walk you through it. You don't
Mm-hmm.
want me to call the seller. You don't want me to call and pull up comps for you because you can look at Zillow, but Zillow, you can't look up closed properties. You can't
Yeah.
look at pending properties. You can't look on tax records. You can't actually look up historical trends of where the prices are. You can't even look at the concessions amount. So you can look up the closed listings maybe on Zillow, but you can't see what they paid in concessions. You can't get a really good idea because the MLS
Mm-hmm.
data is only accessible to licensed agents. So
Yeah.
if you're telling me that's all you want me to do and you don't want any of that, I will gladly take 3K up
Mm-hmm.
front, cash, please. No, I'm just kidding. The
Yeah,
thing is,
bridge.
I'm assuming I would have another level above that.
Yeah.
When the way what I do with my clients is, yes, the contract, but you already done this before. Yes, you already know this, but
Mm-hmm.
when we're looking at a house, I get you a good blueprint of where we are. I give you a zip code analysis of what's going on with those specific houses. I'm going to give you a really solid idea with the comparable market analysis, where we are with the price and what price I think we should go in at. On top
Mm-hmm.
of that, when we give you that, you're going to know a better idea of once we get that price, are we going to be trending upward or downward? What are the potentials here, right? So,
Yeah.
that's probably what I would say. I think it's more than just the contract piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be another. The way I'm thinking about it is there's a minimum service, like you want just that, but I think
Yeah.
agents are going to be like, hey, but if you want this, like a little more in depth, which by the
Yeah.
way, most people don't even do that second level now, and they still get paid 3%. So
For
it's
which
going to
what
hopefully
level?
make agents a lot more. I'm
Uh
sure you bought a few houses where you're like, what did the agent do? Or I'm sure you've also bought houses where the agent like gave you all this information. You're like, wow, that was great. I wish I did this every time, right? Or what has it
yes,
been for
yeah.
you?
For me, I don't mind real estate agents. As the seller, I don't use them as much. But as a buyer, I still use them for mostly the reason to help me negotiate and because I need to see the house, right?
Yeah.
But I've definitely buying recently. I was gonna sell this house kind of earlier last year, and I had this agent, and I
What's his
swear,
name?
like I don't even remember his name. Like he didn't even last as long as
What's his
my
phone number? Let's
husband.
put him on blast.
It's like he didn't want to sell the house. Like I was like, hey, he didn't even send me houses to look at. I was like, it really is just you put my name and my criteria in the thing, and it's supposed to send me houses. That's how it usually works. But instead, I was doing, going on there, seeing what houses, and I would send them to him like, hey, this popped up. What can I go see it? Blah blah blah. And so then he'd go show it to me and like he didn't even walk me through the house. Like I did it myself. Either maybe he just thought I just didn't need it because I was more experienced, but like still like something,
Yeah.
Um and I ended up just like, you never mind. I'm not buying at the moment. Just because I didn't find what I was looking for at that time. So I just waited till this year. Um, but yeah, I've had those. I've had one that really killed me. I really hated paying her the commission because she
What
was
was her
actually
name?
the
I'm just
I
joking.
probably
Don't.
I can look her up. I still have her. I was like, man, she's in Virginia. Like, and
You
she
almost
was
said it
like,
too.
no, and like I even tried to go through what is it, like the broker, to try to like release me from the contract, like, and that dude was like off on vacation somewhere and he could not be bothered and never even called me back and was just like I'm on vacation when he answered me. I was like, well, thanks, I guess. And so she got some free money because like I had her, she was my property manager first. Yeah, she had in there that if I decide to sell, she is the first dibs realtor or whatever and blah blah blah. And so I had to go with her. She took like 3 months to freaking finally list my house.
What people need to know. I mean, I'll be honest. This is like I'm guilty of this too.
Mm-hmm.
You can find an amazing agent with great reviews, but if they're going
Mm-hmm.
through like a down season in their life, they're having fights in their marriage, they're having, a death in the family, or they're just like unmotivated that quarter. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
give you the worst experience ever. And you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be like, I don't get it. And guess what? We've all done that. Like, there's no one in this world who's been consistently awesome at everything they do with it all their life.
Yeah.
I've done it. Everyone's done it. But then there's other times where you'll find an agent that maybe, like, hey, you would never expect it, but you just find them at that right season in their life where they feel really empowered and motivated. And you're like, holy crap, that was amazing. And then, so it's when you're interviewing people, it's really not like what's your credentials, what's your, it's like where are you, where's your headspace in the next now, and where are you going to be after the next month?
Yeah.
If they're about to go on vacation, y'all, because not only are they going to be checked out when they're out of town, they're probably going to check out mentally weeks before and weeks after. So
Yeah.
it's really, you have to be good at reading people, and you have to get like, maybe they don't have the best credentials, but man, if they're just on it, like they're on fire, like, hey, I'll give this person a shot. Or maybe they've
Mm-hmm.
sold hundreds of houses in the area, but they're just all those with one is when you meet them, like, oh, what the hell am I
Mm-hmm.
even gonna work with them? So that's just kind of the things you have to live and learn.
Yeah, so other than that, like how can those that are in like what areas, what markets do you service and how can they reach out to you for any other like tips or like to work with you?
If you happen to be buying or selling a home in Phoenix, the general Phoenix, you know how it is when you live in a big city. Like you live in Los Angeles, but there's like seven other cities around Los Angeles. But you don't want to say, "Oh, I live in this city." You just say like, so I'll say, "Hey, anywhere in Phoenix." But obviously, there's a lot of cities around Phoenix. I'm available basically in the general Metro Phoenix area. If it's an hour away from Phoenix, I'll probably service that area. So East Valley, West Valley, North Phoenix, South Phoenix, I cover it all. Buying or selling, love to help you. But other than that, just continue supporting the podcast.
All right, well,
Great to
thank
see
you
you
so
guys.
much for being here and I will see everyone in the next episode. Bye.